Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I think this is a pretty exciting video that I'm gonna have today. Today we're gonna do an unboxing. Well, actually not really an unboxing, but like a first reveal of my Robinhood Gold Card that I received in the mail about a week ago. Just a little background, when Robinhood first announced their Gold Card, to be honest, I was only interested because of the aesthetics of it. I mean, I already have a good amount of credit cards that are decent. I did like the fact that there was 3% back on pretty much everything. And for me, I kind of can use it as like an everyday card. I'm gonna reveal the card, which is this. So we're gonna go over the card, what there is and what there isn't. Again, I received it about a week ago, so it's pretty fresh. You know, there are some nicks and knacks that we'll get into later. But let's first talk about the material of the card and kind of first impressions. So at the front of the card, you have this kind of metallic matte gold that is some type of metal plate. I think it's stainless steel, but don't quote me on that. Obviously, you have your chip insert here. And then on this side, you have actually a laser engraved Robinhood logo. It's very minimalistic. I mean, it's actually quite big compared to the rest of the card, but it's quite sleek. On the back, this is just plastic. So you have this kind of dark gold shade that's a little different from the front, but well, actually it might be the same. Anyways, you have this dark gold matte plastic that covers the majority of the card. And then you have this darker gold metallic strip that is used for swiping. So on the back, you have obviously the touchless logo, the Visa signature logo, and then I don't think you have any sensitive information here, but I covered it just in case I might be uncovering some sensitive information. So at the back, you have your name, which is like one line. And then on the very bottom left, you have you have a URL, robinhood.com/support. In the middle, right here, you have the CS number. I have no clue what that is. It's not your security code number. And then lastly, I could actually show you this part. And then lastly, there's like this disclaimer of like issued by Coastal Community Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. Now let's talk about the weight of the card. I think a lot of people were enamored by the card because of how heavy it is. And so I actually had a comparison of like plastic gift cards or just random cards, like I have a round one card, versus this, stainless steel card. So I did some kind of weighing and balancing, and so this one metallic card weighs about 5 regular plastic cards. So this includes like credit cards, gift cards, and whatnot. Honestly, I thought it would be heavier. Like it's a little bit heavy, like there's some heft to it, but I expected it to be much heavier than it is. On a related note, let's talk about the flex of this plastic card versus the flex of the gold card. So this plastic gift card, this plastic Target gift card, I'm using like a tiny bit of force, but you can see like, even if I use a tiny bit of force, there's still some play in there. If I use the same force as I used on that plastic card, it's not going anywhere. I still can definitely bend this card if I really use some force. Obviously, I'm not gonna do that, but it's a solid card. Lastly, let's do a drop test. I don't know if you can hear this, but here we go. Hey, I wanted to talk about kind of the quality of the card. So I've literally had this for a week, if not less, and there already is some nicks and knacks on my card, specifically right over here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, here you go. I don't know if you can see that, but there's already a loss of like plating on my card, and that's a little bit concerning. I mean, I do have this Ridge wallet, which I kind of throw around. You can see the quality of the Ridge wallet itself, but I did have this card in the first slot when I first got it, and the side of the card is exposed to the elements. So maybe I like nicked it on something or like scratched it on something, and yeah, it's already semi-ruined after a week. So I don't know how beautiful this will turn out in 3 to 6 months. It might look like shit after a couple months. So next thing we'll talk about is actually the credit limit that I was given on this. I mean, for transparency, I make around like $200,000 and the credit limit on this was about 40K. I'm not sure if they actually use like the Robinhood balance as kind of collateral to this, but I was surprised that they gave such a high credit limit. And just for comparison, my Capital One saver, the credit limit is like only $10,000. I also have an Amex. My Amex credit limit is definitely a little bit higher. It's probably around like 25, 30K. But this card is already at 40K, which kind of shocked me. They did run my credit. I think that happens for every credit card. So they did run my credit, and my credit is fairly high at probably like high 700s. So they know that I pay on time and, you know, will not default on any credit. But I was genuinely surprised at how much credit they gave me for a new customer. So now let's talk about the credit card app that comes along with the Gold Card. So Robinhood has a separate app just called Credit Card, where you can activate the card and pretty much see your balance, pay off payments, and collect rewards that you get from this card. One really unique feature that I like about their credit card app is that you can create these things called virtual cards. And that is so useful for things like tracking expenses for a particular category. So I can see the virtual card being so useful for things like online subscriptions, you know, or paying for a site that you never used before and might look a little shady. And so that's a great way to protect yourself from things like credit card fraud. So for me, a particular use in which I see this card is like something for like a side hustle. Like if I bought some software, started a website, bought some marketing materials, I can always track kind of that expense through a virtual card. And so I don't have to be digging through all the transactions that get intertwined between like personal life and like side hustle related expenses. The Robinhood credit card app is also useful because there's this like family cards that you can give. And although I do not have a family yet, that would be so useful to give, your daughter or son like some allowance. You can set credit card limits for those particular cards. Like I could even see you giving like your credit card to, an uncle to pay something for you instead of like Venmoing them. There's like endless opportunities on why you'll be using like this virtual card / like family plan. So that's really unique. Now let's talk about the benefits of the card. So you get 3% cash back all around. Although there are some other cards that give better cash back, like a 5% cash back for certain categories, this is pretty great in that it's fairly cheap for a 3% all around cash back. For example, I have the Quicksilver Capital One credit card that gives 1.5% cash back on everything. I think it is a free card. So this card is around $50 a month, and all you need to do is subscribe to Robinhood Gold. If you already use Robinhood and are an avid user, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I have like a decent amount of money with Robinhood already. And so, I can utilize gold. I don't trade as much individual stocks as I used to, or like do any advanced trading like margin calls or, puts. And I believe you may have needed Robinhood Gold to make those calls. But for me, the reason I really considered it was because they do IRA 3% match if you have Robinhood Gold. I mean, most companies do like a 3% match. Yeah, it's definitely a consideration if I want to, invest in another IRA. I have 2 IRAs now, so I don't know if I want a 3rd IRA, but it's definitely something to consider. They also have 5% travel cashback if you book through their portal. I think I looked into it, and honestly, their portal didn't seem too great. Like the flights were just not as cheap as ones I can find online. I actually have a trip in a couple months to Japan, and I was debating to book through Robinhood Travel, but ultimately did not end up booking through the Robinhood Travel portal because of the fact like I was scared of like flexibility with flights and just, making sure I would be able to get a refund or, transfer flights if that were to happen. But overall, I think it's a pretty great card in terms of benefits. 3% cash back is pretty above standard, I would say. And although it's not crazy, like a 5% cash back, if I use this as my daily card, I can literally get 1 to 2% better than what I get normally with my other cards. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful day.